Toxins, by definition, are harmful to our body temple as they impair normal biological functions. Toxins damage DNA synthesis, which increases the rate of aging and degeneration. Toxins modify gene expression, which can lead to cancer and a plethora of diseases. Toxins damage cell membranes so that cells cannot function normally. Toxins interfere with hormones and neurotransmitters to cause deficits in bodily homeostasis. Toxins displace structural minerals, resulting in weaker bones. Toxins damage the essential organs. So remember that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So we definitely have to be knowledgeable on toxins so we can prevent them from affecting our health. Basically, do the best we can, right? We can't, get away from all toxins. So the types of toxins that affect us: chemical toxins, examples, of course, man-made substances such as pesticides, herbicides, phthalates, synthetic chemicals. Biological toxins, examples, bad bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa. Certain plants, reptiles, amphibians can also produce biological toxins. In South America, we have gorgeous, colorful frogs. So if you're ever in South America and you see a gorgeous, colorful frog, please do not touch it because they are very toxic and poisonous. Also, of course, we have to note that EMFs, X-rays, microwaves, radio frequencies increase the toxic body burden. Neurotoxins and excitotoxins can originate from animal, mineral, and man-made sources. Toxins are difficult to avoid unless we exercise caution by understanding the sources of our food and water, and if we avoid areas involved in environmental toxin exposure. So what we have to do is try our best to minimize risk. So I thought it would be nice to share with you guys the ones that we have back home in South America. This one is from Ecuador. This one is from Colombia. This one is from Brazil. And what these beauties are able to do is give you cardiac arrest and paralysis if you touch them. So again, if you ever visit South America and you see these beauties, please do not touch them. So toxins mostly enter the body by what we ingest via food, prescription drugs, beverages, and thus are absorbed by the gut, detrimentally affecting the gut, making it leak. And thus toxins enter the bloodstream. Now, the life of the flesh is in the blood, which means that if we have toxins in the blood, it will affect all of our physiology. Toxins also enter our body by the air we breathe and by what we put on our skin. Now, I will be presenting sources of toxins, and later I will present the methods on how to lessen their effects, really high level and quickly, and of course, their ingestion. And I will be making other videos to further elaborate on non-toxic foods, clothes, products, and methods. So stay tuned for that on the channel. Now, Hippocrates did say all disease begins in the gut. It seems to be that he was correct. However, in Genesis, we do see the Lord giving us the optimum diet, the non-toxic diet as well, right? So toxins trigger our immune system to be activated as our body recognizes anything that is foreign and invasive. Once inflammation occurs in the body, a protein in our intestines called zonulin, which is responsible for keeping the junctions tight in order to keep our intestinal lining intact, actually ends up opening the junctions, as we see here, and in turn allows larger particles, as we see here, such as toxins and pathogens, to enter the bloodstream. Toxic elements leaking into your circulation cause chronic inflammation and chronic disease, even crossing the blood-brain barrier and thus affecting the brain. Now, when this occurs, our central nervous system becomes affected. It is important to note that inflammation disrupts the blood-brain barrier. Many diseases and physiological stressors that affect the central nervous system can also alter the functional integrity of the blood-brain barrier. We can logically conclude that diet and lifestyle and our surroundings, of course, have much to do in regards to how much toxins we ingest and affects our body. So there's a study here in the NIH PubMed Central, and the title is "All Disease Begins in the Leaky Gut: The Role of Zonulin-Mediated Gut Permeability in the Pathogenesis of Some Chronic Inflammatory Diseases." Very interesting study. You can read. Where can we find toxins? Well, the most toxins are found, of course, in non-certified organic foods, because, of course, they're laden with pesticides, herbicides, of course, GMOs, synthetic chemicals that are found in the foods, heavy metals, mycotoxins, such as mold, which is found in most coffee beans and nuts, and things like walnuts, antibiotics, pathogens found in all animal foods, artificial food colorings and dyes, food preservatives, which are carcinogenic, and they have also been associated with hormone disruption and smaller sperm size in men, among other detrimental health effects. Most processed foods have a significant amount of toxins, especially neurotoxins and excitotoxins. I forgot to type that in. Dioxins and dioxin-like compounds. Dioxins are a group of chemically related compounds that are persistent environmental pollutants, POPs. They accumulate in the food chain and are present in many ingredients, including meat, dairy products, and fish. Not only do these chemicals damage the environment, but dioxins are also harmful to human health in high doses because of the way they are absorbed and stored by fat tissue. Studies suggest that the exposure to DLCs may lead to a variety of adverse health effects, including reproductive and developmental problems, cardiovascular disease, increased diabetes, and increased cancer. So if we study the last 30 years, we see that all of these issues have definitely multiplied. They have risen exponentially. Where can we find toxins? Again, plastics. Well, plastics have health implications because of their additives. We can find the BPA, the phthalates, the PVCs, and heavy metals in these things as well. All these things basically have correlations with breast and prostate cancer, reproductive and behavioral problems, obesity, and diabetes. Acrylamide, which is a chemical found in fried, starchy foods like French fries and potato chips, as well as grains, and that have been cooked at very high temperatures. In the body, acrylamide is converted to a compound called glycitamide, and it causes mutation and damage to the DNA. Now, we also have toxins that we can find in the tap water, such as lead, chlorine, chloramines, mercury, VOCs. And you can also find, of course, pharmaceuticals, herbicides, pesticides, cysts, basically, which are a microbial parasite. They can get into the water system, of course. We have the toxins also that we find in the air. Now, we see these trails over here, and these are not condensation trails from regular airplanes. There are patents for geoengineering, can be found online. The chemicals that have been found in these through research include barium salts, which are 10,000 times more toxic to your nervous system than lead, aluminum, viruses, bacteria, human plasma, among other substances. Now, I definitely advise to search out Dr. Bill Deagle. He was the doctor who treated the pilots who flew these geoengineering planes. Search his name on BitChute because, of course, you probably will not find his videos too much on YouTube. Here we see planes doing their job. And a must-watch documentary, geoengineeringwatch.org is the website. This one is actually found on YouTube. It's called The Dimming, full length, and it's basically showing you the patents of these aerial delivery systems on the planes. So if anybody tells you that, that's not true, that it's a conspiracy theory, we do have sufficient evidence that confirms otherwise. This website is also very interesting, Environmental Health Trust. Definitely check it out. They have a lot of interesting science. Wireless radiation, EMFs increase toxic body burden. Chemicals plus wireless radiation and EMFs equal to a higher cumulative toxic load. It is a known fact that lead, air pollution, and other toxic chemicals can damage our health, and more specifically, these toxins can damage brain development. In addition, wireless and EMF radiation can synergistically increase the effect of these daily toxic exposures because of the ways in which wireless radiation alters the body's natural functioning. Wireless radiation has been shown to damage sleep and the blood-brain barrier, which can in turn lead to higher toxic load on the body. Furthermore, well-done replicated research studies have found that a known carcinogen exposure in combination with wireless and EMF exposure leads to a significantly increased risk of cancer development. So this is a website you can go to and check it out. Wireless radiation impairs the body's ability to protect itself from toxic chemicals by damaging the blood-brain barrier. This is a very interesting documentary you can see on YouTube by Dr. Leif Salford, and it's basically seeing how electromagnetic fields and leakage of the blood-brain barrier. Now we see here some studies as well, DNA damage from long-term occupational exposure to extremely low-frequency EMF fields among power plant workers. Cell phone radiation is harmful, but few want to believe it. Very interesting. Cell phone radiation increases the risk for a number of biological and health disorders. Wi-Fi is an important threat to human health. Very interesting. Repeated Wi-Fi studies show that Wi-Fi causes oxidative stress, sperm testicular damage, neuropsychiatric effects including EEG changes, apoptosis, cellular DNA damage, endocrine changes, and calcium overload. Of course, we also have toxins in the water. EPA warns against toxic forever chemicals in drinking water. The federal agency's new limits on drinking water contaminants take aim at synthetic substances called PFAS that are linked with health issues. This is from a Canadian website. Pesticide ban in Europe found in Toronto's tap water. Research around atrazine has found endocrine disrupting properties connected to hermaphrodite frogs, feminized fish, and low sperm counts in humans living in agricultural areas. However, this is also part of the article. Toronto may be an hour from the nearest farm, but the environmental groups say unsafe levels of top-selling herbicide used on cornfields for the last 50 years are turning up in our tap water. So it's interesting to me that they are not very worried about this pesticide being used on the cornfields for 50 years, but they are concerned about it being in the tap water, which is really interesting. So we have here the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. Unsafe levels of toxic chemicals found in drinking water for 6 million Americans. Very interesting. This is from 2016. I would say all of America. This is an article that is more recent from The Guardian. We sampled tap water across the US and found arsenic, lead, and toxic chemicals. A 9-month investigation by The Guardian and Consumer Reports found alarming levels of forever chemicals, arsenic, and lead in samples taken across the US. So when I stay in the United States, last year I stayed about, I think a year in the United States. I'm sorry, 10 months, but I was outside Canada for a year. So when I stay in the United States, I stay in this part of Florida, and you can put your zip code here. Unfortunately, we don't have this in Canada. So this is for the US. Put in your zip code, and it will show up. Sorry, it will show the contaminants that have been detected. So here we find chlorate and potential effect, harm to the thyroid. Haloacetic acids, potential effect, cancer. Potential effect, cancer. Potential effect, cancer. Radium, potential effect, cancer. Very interesting. 5 contaminants detected that exceed the EWG health guidelines, total of 16 contaminants. Now we have to understand that legal does not necessarily equal safe. Getting a passing grade from the federal government does not mean the water meets the latest health guidelines. Legal limits for contaminants in tap water have not been updated in almost 20 years. The best way to ensure clean tap water is to keep pollution out of source water in the first place. Well, I wonder how that is going to be done. So again, these are the 5 that exceeded the guideline, and we see the amount of times that they exceeded, right? So definitely check out this website. This is Environmental Working Group. It's a nonprofit organization, and they also have information in regards to personal toxins found in personal care products. We have here fluoride. 97% of Western Europe has rejected water fluoridation. Very interesting. Many children now exceed recommended daily fluoride intake from toothpaste alone. So it's very interesting because some people think that fluoride is okay, especially dentists, and I completely disagree. There's over 400 studies that have found fluoride is a neurotoxin. So if you use any toothpaste that has fluoride, throw it out. Try to purchase a toothpaste that has the least amount of chemicals and no parabens, no fluoride. Fluoride seems to fit with lead, mercury, and other poisons that cause chemical brain drain. This is from a study from Philippe Grandjean, MD, PhD, Harvard study co-author, and a multitude of studies are raising alarms about ongoing neurological damage. It's very, very interesting. children are at risk. Yes, they are. I do see in Walmart for babes that they sell water with fluoride in it, and I'm just breaks my heart when I see that. Toxic ingredients in your toothpaste, as I said, and this is an interesting excerpt. With over 80% of American adults suffering from gum disease, it's obvious that what people are using to brush their teeth isn't working, or even worse, could actually be the cause of their gum disease. These are the toxic ingredients that you're going to find in most toothpaste, so definitely try to stay away from any toothpaste that has these ingredients. Now let's get into plastics. The 7 types of plastics, their toxicity, and what they are most commonly used for. Now, the code here is very interesting to me because this is low and this is high. To me, they're both the same thing. Okay. Interesting here how long they take to decompose. We have here 5 to 10 years, 100 years, never, 500 to 1,000 years, 20 to 30 years, 50 years. Very interesting. Now a little breakdown on them. Here we have polyethylene terephthalate. I can't really see because I have something, the screen sharing notification is blocking it. Commonly used for soda bottles, water bottles, beer bottles, salad dressing bottles, peanut butter jars, jelly jars, ropes, combs, tote bags, medicine jars, clothing, and carpet fiber. Now, their toxins and health risks. PET is the most commonly used plastic in the world, but it can leach the toxic metal antimony. When this plastic sits on the shelf for a long time or is exposed to sunlight or higher temperatures, this can lead to a larger amount of antimony leaching into the contents. Antimony is considered a carcinogen. Bromine is another compound found to leach out of PET bottles. It acts as a central nervous system depressant and can trigger psychological symptoms. So it's very interesting. This is one of the most used types of plastics, and it can definitely affect our health, as we see here. And they can be recycled into fleece garments, carpets, stuffing for pillows, winter jackets, and so on. Here we have high-density polyethylene, which are commonly used for milk jugs, non-carbonated drink bottles, shampoos and conditioner bottles, soap bottles, toys for children. HDPE is the most commonly recycled plastic and is considered one of the safest forms of plastic. It is a more stable form of plastic than PET. But while it is considered a safer option for food and drinks, it is never safe to reuse HDPE plastic for food or drink if it did not originally contain either. Some studies have shown that HDPE can leach estrogen-mimicking chemicals that could disrupt your hormones and even alter the structure of human cells. Very interesting, and they still say that it's safe. I mean, like, the word safe should not be applied to these things. So again, I personally try to use the least amount of plastic possible, and I just use glass or buy anything in glass. Polypropylene, again, commonly used for prescription drugs, most bottle tops, ketchup and syrup bottles, yogurt and margarine containers, potato chip bags, drinking straws, lunch boxes. The risks. PP is considered a safer plastic option for food and drink use, as it can withstand high temperatures and thus is less likely to leach chemicals. However, studies have found that PP could potentially leach some chemicals that could lead to asthma or hormone disruption. Very interesting. Polystyrene, so commonly used for disposable foam cups, takeout food containers, plastic cutlery, egg cartons, fast food trays, video cases, seed trays, coat hangers, low-cost brittle toys, foam packaging for peanuts, etc. So here are the health risks. PS is commonly known as styrofoam and is considered a highly toxic form of plastic. PS leaches many toxins, including the styrene, which can cause cancer and damage to the nervous system and could also affect genes, the lungs, the liver, and the immune system. Heat plays a role in the amount of styrene that is leached from PS, so it is advised to not use this form of plastic to hold hot food or drinks. I find it interesting because this is what it's mostly used for. Xenoestrogens. So xenoestrogens are man-made toxic chemicals that disrupt our endocrine system. And again, where can we find these? Water, pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, cleaning products, home and industrial, plastics, canned foods, dental sealants, receipts, air and dust, home furnishings, nail polish, hair dyes, cosmetics, personal care products, perfume, sunscreen, medical devices, birth control pills, toys, building materials. Very interesting. We can find this basically everywhere. So, with all that information, it's not surprising that we find this study from the Journal of Epidemiology and Community Health in the British Medical Journal. Persistent toxic chemicals in the U.S. food supply. POPs have spread throughout the global environment to threaten human health and damage ecosystems, with evidence of POPs contamination in wildlife, human blood, and breast milk documented worldwide. Cancer-causing Roundup, chemical found in most tampons, bandages, and other cotton products. The findings of a new study raises further concerns of the potential impact of the cancer-causing Roundup chemical glyphosate, suggesting that almost all tampons, the rest got cut off, but what I say, and I basically for my ladies out there, please do not use tampons. Try to use certified organic pads, or you can also buy certified organic reusable pads, which are made out of cloth. I have worked with a lot of females who have a lot of hormonal issues and PCOS, endometriosis, and things like that, and almost all of them have this type of history of using these type of products. New tampon testing reveals undisclosed carcinogens and reproductive toxins. Very interesting. 85% of feminine products are contaminated with cancer-causing glyphosate. Xenoestrogens are linked to breast, prostate, and testicular cancers, infertility, miscarriages, endometriosis, early onset puberty, obesity, and diabetes, among other issues. Here's some studies on xenoestrogens. Again, common xenoestrogens and their sources, mainly found in meats, animal products, especially fish. This is dioxins. Again, we talked about this in the earlier slides. Of course, we can find them in, farm fish, poultry, milk, dairy products, fruits, and vegetables. Of course, because fruits and vegetables that are not certified organic, which have pesticides and herbicides on them. Plastics, perfumes, antiperspirants. Definitely, ladies and gentlemen, for both. Definitely, if you use deodorant, do not use any that have aluminum. Like I said, I will be making other videos in regards to products that you can purchase or even make at home that actually work. So again, how to minimize your xenoestrogen exposure. Basically, for household products, use chlorine-free products, natural products to clean. Reduce the use of plastics whenever possible. Buy certified organic as much as you can. Now, some people will say, certified organic is very expensive. Well, we'll touch on that later on. Tests find more than 200 chemicals in newborn umbilical cord blood. Very, very interesting and sad. This is from Scientific American. Women apply an average of 168 chemicals on their body every day. Forever chemicals. Toxic forever chemicals widespread in top makeup brands. Study finds. Researcher finds signs of PFAS in over half of 231 samples of products, including lipstick, mascara, and foundation. Toxic forever chemicals widely used in cosmetics produced by major brands in the US and Canada. Very interesting. A new study that tested for chemicals in hundreds of products found. So we see here the products that most frequently contain high levels of fluorine included waterproof mascara, foundations, and liquid lipstick. Very interesting about the liquid lipstick because you're literally eating those toxins as you have them on your lips, ladies. Men's testosterone levels declined in the last 20 years. Now, this is interesting because this is an article from 2007. It's really interesting to me because imagine now. In 2007, a study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism showed a significant drop in testosterone levels since the 1980s, with average T levels declining about 1% per year. To put this into perspective, this means that a 60-year-old male in 2004 had 70% lower testosterone levels than that of a 60-year-old male in 1987. The levels have gotten even worse since then. A study in Denmark showed double-digit declines in T levels in men compared to the 1960s. Sorry, in men born in the 1960s compared to those born in the 1920s. And guys, we are in 2022, so we see what's going on in the world in regards to fertility and to men and females, men and women. So this is really not that surprising. Harmful untested chemicals rife in personal care products as well. This is, mostly, products for females are shown, but this also means products for males. We have here EWG's Skin Deep. Again, this is the environmental working group, like I said, the same website, same organization that has the information on tap water. So what you can do is you can download their app, EWG Healthy Living, and you can basically scan the barcode on whatever product that you are using on yourself, and it will give you a score, a hazard score. It'll give you either a 1, like a 5 or a 10, low hazard, moderate hazard, or high hazard. So it's very interesting. You can use that. But one of my, laws, I would say, is if you cannot eat the product that you're putting on your skin, it should not be on your skin. The defender here, industrial chemicals linked to decreased fertility in women. So it's not just men, of course, it's females, as we have been seeing. Researchers measured the levels of 31 common industrial chemicals in the blood of 60 women and found women with higher levels of chemicals in their blood samples also had fewer immature eggs left in their ovaries. When medicine makes you sick, the prescription drug you've been using for years can have sudden, scary side effects. Basically, from what? Drug toxicity. Now we have here Peter Christian Goche. He's a Danish physician, medical researcher, and based on his research, he basically found that prescription drugs are the third leading cause of death in the USA and Europe. We also have his article in the NIH, National Library of Medicine, where he came to the same conclusion. Now here we see glyphosate, risky chemical found in food supply. You don't say. According to the ecologist, a whopping 99.6% of the 2009 people monitored in a study had glyphosate residue in their urine, meaning only 0.4% of the population showed no signs of residue. Moreover, 75% of those studied had urinary glyphosate levels that were 5 times higher than the chemical's legal limit in drinking water. 1/3 of the study group had even higher levels at 10 to 42 times more than permitted in drinking water. Very interesting. Genetically engineered crops, as we know. We find these crops are used to make, of course, a lot of corn syrup, and corn oil. Basically, we could also find a lot of GM zucchini, yellow squash, sweet corn, papayas and apples in the US. Papayas, I would say, I stay away from definitely if they are from the US or they are from Hawaii. Definitely GMOs. Now, I thought it's really interesting to add this excerpt by Jonathan R. Latham, PhD. By training, I am a plant biologist. In the early 1990s, I was busy making genetically modified plants, often called GMOs for genetically modified organisms, as part of the research that led to my PhD. Into these plants, we were putting DNA from various foreign organisms, such as viruses and bacteria. Now, common sense would dictate, would you really want to consume anything that has been modified? I see so many quote unquote scientific articles that say that, GMO food is okay. It's good for you. There's no difference between that and certified organic foods. And I feel really bad for anybody who believes that nonsense. Which foods are likely sprayed directly with Roundup or glyphosate? GMO crops, of course, corn, soy, canola, sugar beets, cotton, alfalfa, sugarcane. And of course, conventional non-GMO crops, oats, wheat, and other grains, peas, lentils, sugarcane, sunflowers, flax, and mint, other herbs. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to purchase any of these, please purchase them certified or organic or stay away from them for your health. Toxin Free USA sues Procter & Gamble for deceptive marketing of Oral-B Glide dental floss. What do you know? They found it having forever chemicals. So you can get a healthier version of floss on Amazon made from bamboo. FDA approves first GMO wheat. Very interesting. New research, disturbingly high levels of PFAS found in widely used pesticides. The level of absorption by plants suggests that a person could absorb a lifetime dose of PFAS from eating one salad made with produce treated with these pesticides. Again, if you want to see this information, you can definitely go to toxinfreeusa.org. Very informative website. Danish study links a mother's exposure to PFAS in early pregnancy to lower sperm count and quality in adult sons. So the decisions that you make now will affect your progeny. FDA, and it's funny because the Bible tells us the same thing. FDA now says these cereals are not healthy. I mean, do we really need the FDA to tell us that? These, obviously, we can conclude that also have glyphosate on them, among other pesticides and toxins. Again, some people say it doesn't matter if you get certified organic, it doesn't really mean anything. And I would beg to differ because I've personally experienced it myself, and those that I have helped in regards to their health, they have noticed a difference, and not noticed, but we can confirm it through blood tests and urine samples. Again, here it's funny because you see, a total of 47 different pesticides detected in conventional apples that are non-certified organic, and a total of 3 different pesticides detected in organic apples. So, of course, which one would you choose? Again, we have to understand that we cannot be totally free of toxins, but what we can do is try to lower our risk of consuming toxins, right? This is what this is about, lowering your risk and exposure to toxins. Number of toxic pesticides banned by country. Very interesting. EU and UK, 464. USA, 21. And, I would say Canada is definitely on the same level. What's in your corn? People who love to eat corn. You see here, E. coli bacteria, of course, antibiotic resistant markers, 6 different types of the Bt toxin. Definitely, you do not want to eat corn that is not certified organic. I personally try to stay away even from certified organic corn, but I'm not trying to, if that's something that you want to consume, I would still advise that certified organic corn is best for consumption. Again, USDA results of tests, 8.47 different pesticides, 0.61 different pesticides per bite. A study, GM genes can pass from food to human blood. Contrary to reassurance from industry and government regulators, complete genes, including genetically modified genes, can pass from food into human blood. And remember, the blood, the life. Simply Jif, a lot of people eat peanut butter. Hydrogenated soybean oil, which is known to increase the risk of obesity, inflammation, cardiovascular disease, cancer, and autoimmune diseases. And of course, since these peanuts are not organic, conventional peanuts and all nuts are often treated with synthetic pesticides and fungicides linked to cancer and liver damage. New study finds that the preservative TBHQ may harm the immune system, found in all of these. Red, number 3, is an artificial color, banned from cosmetics due to its link to cancer, but the FDA still allows it in food. Very, very interesting. Subway eating fresh, and definitely you get a whole bunch of toxins on this quote-unquote fresh food. The ingredient sucralose is an artificial sweetener linked to leukemia and other blood cancers, and it's found in things like Fiber One, Rosona juice, Mission Carb Balance tortilla. Very interesting because these don't really seem to be that unhealthy, but they are. I really enjoy the Food Babe. The Food Babe, she has, been doing this for years, exposing these chemicals. And you don't really have to be a scientist to have common sense, and deductive reasoning skills to see that these things are not in any way okay to be consuming. More than 70% of non-organic fresh produce sold in the US contains residues of potentially harmful pesticides and herbicides. Again, this is from the Environmental Working Group, and you can check them out again here on their website. They have the Dirty Dozen, which are the ones that they have found, the most toxins in: strawberry, spinach, kale. So again, if you guys are going to consume any of these products, definitely buy certified organic. Health benefits of reducing dietary pesticide exposure. Organic standards prohibit the use of synthetic pesticides, among other things. Eating organically produced food reduces pesticide exposure and is linked to a variety of health benefits, according to the multiple studies, especially findings from a large study in France. Clinical trials continue to show that people who switched from conventionally grown to organic food saw a rapid, dramatic reduction in their urinary pesticide concentrations, a marker of pesticide exposure. Additional studies have linked higher consumption of organic foods to lower urinary pesticide levels, improved fertility and birth outcomes, reduced incidence of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, lower BMI, and reduced risk of type 2 diabetes. So this really, like I say, I am a living testimony in regards to these things because I've been eating certified organic, I would say probably for 10 years. And I've been plant-based for about 5 years. And prior to, I was very, very sick with a medical condition that supposedly there is no cure for. But since going on, of course, a certified organic plant-based diet, and of course, other lifestyle changes, but mainly because of the diet, my symptoms have decreased by 98, 99%. And they decreased very quickly within a couple of months of just making that switch. So definitely, I am a testimony of that. And those who have also helped in regards to their nutrition and health, they can also testify to that. Personally, I still would not buy sweet corn or onions or papayas. Again, to each their own. This is what they have found. These are the produce that they have found with the least amount of toxins. 11 toxic chemicals found in vitamins, supplements, and health foods. I definitely do not trust most of the supplements that are out there on the market. I only trust about 3 or 4 brands, which I will share. So again, many supplements do have a lot of toxins in them, fillers, MSGs. So definitely, if your supplement has more than 3 ingredients that are actually not part of the supplement or like the herb, you're definitely better off throwing it out. Toxic clothing, 6 toxic chemicals in clothing. They found glyphosate, VOCs, PFCs, flame retardants, phthalates, and formaldehyde. Very, very interesting because, of course, most clothing now is just basically plastic. 7 toxic chemicals hiding in your waterproof, stain-resistant, and wrinkle-free clothes. You're living in these clothes and you may even be sleeping in these clothes. And again, the skin is the largest organ and it absorbs everything you put on it. High levels of toxic chemicals found in clothing from multiple brands, including Nike, Reebok, and others. The Center for Environmental Health sent legal notices to 11 brands manufacturing sports bras and athletic shirts after a study found that they have high levels of BPA based on standards set in California. Very interesting. The harmful chemicals hidden in your workout clothes. Are your yoga leggings toxic? So as part of an exercise regimen that I do and that I also, advise people in regards to their health journey, definitely get rid of any of these type of clothes that, basically are plastic and toxic. Try to buy cotton, 100% cotton. And of course, wearing tight clothing is not good for your health and it's not good for your circulation. So just keep that in mind as well. I know this is basically the fashion of how to work out, but it's not doing any justice to your body or your health. Non-stick cookware making you sick. Definitely. Teflon cookware, pots and pans. So you can buy certified organic foods, but if you cook them on these pots and pans, it's definitely useless. So again, if you want to mitigate that, you can purchase safe cookware, glass, stainless steel, high quality cast iron ceramic cookware. You could go to the thrift store. In the thrift store, you will find a lot of glass and steel cookware that you can purchase. PFAs, of course, again, found through these methods, through the cookware. Dairy consumption increases risks for cancer. So can we come to the conclusion that there are toxins in dairy? Definitely. Eating eggs linked to cancer. Eating eggs is linked to developing prostate cancer, according to the new National Institutes of Health funded study. By consuming 2.5 eggs per week, men increase their risk for a deadly form of prostate cancer by 81%. That's a lot. Compared with men who consume less than half an egg per week. Researchers followed 27,607 men who were part of the Health Professionals Follow-up Study from 1994 to 2008. For men who already had prostate cancer, eating poultry and processed red meat increased their risk for death. Bacon and skinless chicken associated with bladder cancer. A new study from the Harvard School of Public Health finds that meat, including chicken intake, is associated with an increased risk for bladder cancer. Very, very interesting. Additionally, those who ate more than 5 servings of chicken without the skin each week had a 52% increase in bladder cancer risk compared with those who ate none. Researchers hypothesized that nitrosamines and heterocyclic amines, non-carcinogens, or both, may play a role. Red and processed meats cause cancer. Red and processed meat products are linked to cancer, according to a report from the World Health Organization's published study today in Lancet Oncology. This is from 2015. Very interesting. Extensive research has shown that meat and other animal products contain or lead to the formation of a wide range of pro-inflammatory compounds and molecules, including bacterial endotoxins, trimethylamine N oxide, which is basically TMAO, nitrosamines, heterocyclic amines. They have found all of these in direct correlation with meats, with flesh foods. Very interesting. Again, you can check out this website, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. This organization was started by plant-based physicians who started seeing more and more how, eating meat was definitely toxic for human beings. So they started this organization, which is great. There's a lot of research and health topics and science that you can check out. Mercury from fish increases risk for Lou Gehrig's disease. A recent study in 518 people found that high mercury levels in the body, as detected from toenail samples associated with fish and shellfish consumption, was found to increase the risk for developing Lou Gehrig's disease, also known as ALS, which is a non-curable neurodegenerative disease leading to paralysis and death. Fish and shellfish contain concentrated levels of toxins like mercury from drinking contaminated water. Fish in sushi contain 283 times more parasites than a decade ago. Again, a lot of toxins from these dead animals. So we saw some studies about cancer and meat that are recent, but this is actually not that recent. 1907, Tuesday, September 24th, we find an article in the New York Times, and they also actually did a study and found that cancer increased among meat eaters. Very, very interesting. Chicago scientists are deeply interested in the results of 2 years exhaustive study at the center in Chicago by Dr. G. Cook Adams of London and formerly Australia. Increase of disease and its death rate. Very interesting. Plant-based diets decrease the risk of death from prostate cancer. Well, there is something different now. Men who consume the most plant-based foods decrease the risk of dying from prostate cancer by 19%. You are what you eat. According to the abstract published in the Journal of Urology, researchers compared plant-based diet intake and prostate cancer incidence and mortality rates for 47,243 men as part of the health professionals follow-up study. Adherence to a plant-based diet lowered the risk of death from cancer as well as risk for total advanced cancer among younger men. These results show the efficacy of plant-based diets for cancer prevention and survival. I mean, we have this information in Genesis 1:29 and, of course, in the inspired testimonies. Vegan diet, the best for type 2 diabetes. A vegan diet proves best for type 2 diabetes according to the study published in PLOS Ones. Very, very interesting. Plant-based diets reduce mortality from heart disease and cancer. Basically, plant-based diets have the ability to reduce the toxins in the body. Plant-based diets reduce mortality from heart disease, cancer, and all causes, according to a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Researchers compared the diet records with mortality rates for 22,421 participants from the Malmo diet and cancer cohort. Those with the highest adherence to the Lancet diet, which included high intakes of fruits, vegetables, legumes, and whole grains, and limited intakes of animal products and saturated fats, lowered their mortality rates for cancer, heart disease, and all causes by 25%. When compared to those who did not closely follow the diet. Now, this is one of my favorite authors, Ellen G. White. She writes here in the Ministry of Healing, 1905, grains, fruits, nuts, and vegetables constitute the diet chosen for us by our Creator. These foods, prepared in a simple and natural manner possible, are the most healthful and nourishing. They impart strength, a power of endurance, and a vigor of intellect that are not afforded by a more complex and stimulating diet, which to me, this translates also to a toxic diet. In grains, fruits, vegetables, and nuts are to be found all, not some, the food elements that we need. If we will come to the Lord in simplicity of mind, He will teach us how to prepare wholesome food, free from the taint of flesh meat. Now, I became a 7-day Adventist without ever meeting a 7-day Adventist. And prior to that, I had already gone onto the plant-based diet and plant-based nutrition. So when I came across, these writings, I was, just in shock and awe. I was just amazed how this information was already imparted, basically for us to know. And she had a lot of scientific, knowledge that has just been, discovered recently, right? So this is, this was a confirmation to me that, the Lord never leaves us without knowledge, and all we have to do is just trust in Him and His Word. Now, I'm just gonna add this. Well, I added this slide here, showing the leading sites of new cancer cases and deaths, 2020 estimates, and it's interesting because we see here the correlations: prostates for males, breast for female, lung and bronchus, colon and rectum, urinary bladder, uterine corpus. So what are the similarities that men and women have? Obviously, diet and lifestyle and their exposure of toxins. This is the direct correlation. Of course, some people will say it is hereditary. And, your genes, they are not your destiny. I definitely do not believe in that. At the genetic health level, won't affect us if we are healthy and make the decision to be healthy, right? But of course, it's hereditary if, generationally you are in the same environment and you're eating the same foods. Of course, it's going to be hereditary, right? But again, God has provided a way out, as He always does. So your genes are not your destiny. So what is the best way to detox and mitigate the effects of toxins? Pure air. Your lungs dilate more from having an increase of oxygen. So fresh air improves the cleansing of your lungs. You release airborne toxins from your body when exhaling through your lungs. Proper diet, whole food, organic plant-based diet, which is an optimum diet given to us in Genesis 1:29, seen to reverse disease, as we just saw. Sunlight. Sunlight destroys toxic bacteria. D3 helps kill off bacteria, improves the blood circulation in the body, and eliminates toxins from the body. Abstemiousness. Temperance helps us to make the decisions to allow less toxins to enter or be made in our body. So if I enjoy cheese, or a muffin and I exercise temperance, I am not going to eat that cheese or that muffin just because I know that it's not good for my body. So, through the execution of temperance, I will allow less toxins to enter my body. Rest. The brain can flush out toxins during sleep. It is sometimes referred to as the body's toxic evaporation technique. Good sleep functions as the body's natural detox process. Exercise quickens breathing, promotes blood circulation, and increases sweat production. All factors that promote the release of toxins. The more blood that is circulated through the body, the easier it is for the liver and the lymph nodes to do their job. Pure water, as we saw, tap water is very toxic. Water flushes toxins and wastes from the body with the help of the kidneys and transports nutrients to where they are needed. And of course, trust in God. There are aspects that are beyond our control. We have to trust in our Creator in all things and in His promises. So, this is probably the most important part for me, I would say, because again, God has provided to us all the knowledge that we require to be healthy. It's just up to us to either execute it or not. What is the best way to detox and mitigate the effects of toxins? Again, purchase certified organic foods, or even better, start your own garden if you're able to do so. I mean, if you're able to do country living and you have land, definitely start doing agriculture as soon as possible. There's so many videos you can watch on YouTube that can help you out. Also, the Ellen White method, the amazing method of agriculture, something that you can learn as well. Again, some people say, certified organic food is expensive. Well, being sick is much more expensive than the amount of money you would invest in your health purchasing certified organic foods. Again, the Lord does not leave us without options. If you have anything, subscriptions such as Netflix, phone plans that are just, you don't really need so much things on your phone, things like that. Spending money on certain things that are not really beneficial for your health, I think that you will do well to get rid of them and try to invest on your health, and budget. That would definitely help, I would say. At the end of the day, it's all up to the person if they want to be healthy or not. But again, I know that once you're sick, because I've been there, right? 5 years ago, I was literally like bedridden. 5, 6 years ago. So it's definitely much more expensive to be sick than it is to invest on your health. And just a side note, well, when I got sick, I was already eating sort of organic food. However, I was still consuming animal products and stimulants such as coffee, which definitely affects your body as they are still toxic. So definitely the whole food plant-based diet is the way to go, as it is stated in Genesis. Purchase pure plant-based supplements. My favorite companies are Global Healing, Christopher's Herbs, and Gaia Herbs. These have literally the least amount of toxins that I have found in the market, and if anything, no toxins, and very useful, very helpful. Purchase plants which help purify the air, or purchase an air purifier. Purchase water filters, reverse osmosis or Berkey water filter. Purchase 100% linen or cotton, organic cotton if possible, or hemp clothing, alpaca, wool, etc. Now, again, sometimes, of course, these things can be expensive, but thrift stores are amazing places to find good quality clothing. I mean, for me, when I was living in the United States, thrift stores were definitely my best friend, and you can find good quality clothing in thrift stores, and it's really amazing because you can see the difference from the clothes that were made years ago as to compared to the clothes and the quality of the clothes of today. It's just, night and day, since most of these clothes are mixed fabrics and made out of plastics. Definitely thrift stores are amazing places to find good quality clothing. Nascent iodine, one of my favorite supplements, and one of the supplements that also people that I help with their health, they start using, and within a week or 2 weeks they start feeling much better, and the difference Iodine is also great for the removal of heavy metals because it can bind to metals like aluminum and mercury and removes them from your system. It is also great help to those with hormonal, thyroid, and metabolism issues. This one is from Global Healing. Iodine can also help you detox from halates, bromide, fluoride, and chlorine, all of which are endocrine disruptors. Endocrine disruptors like bromide do their damage by crowding out iodine in cellular receptor sites throughout the entire body. The thyroid, breasts, and ovaries are where concentrations of iodine are stored and utilized most. The conditions that are associated with high amounts of halates in the body include ovarian cysts, uterine fibroids, breast disease, cancers of the uterus, ovaries, breasts, and prostates. Dr. David Brownstein, he's the author of the book Iodine, Why You Need It and Why You Can't Live Without It, is very, very good book. He's an expert in iodine, so if you have the ability to do so, I would definitely advise to get that book. Activated charcoal, one of my favorite also detox, one of my favorite ways to detox as well, sorry. We have here Richard C. Kaufman, a scientist, and he basically made up this detox plan to counteract daily exposures to toxins. This plan you can find in charcoalremedies.com. This is from a actually brethren right here who have this charcoal remedies business as well. They have charcoal products. They have a charcoal remedies book. So many things that activated charcoal is good for. So definitely check them out. We know that charcoal is good for whitening teeth, bath soaps, face masks. It's a good tonic for detox, cleansing soaps. Definitely helps your kidneys, your GI. Very, very useful. Now, here we have plants, because again, you can purchase an air purifier, but unfortunately, they are expensive. The Air Doctor, I think, is $1,000 if I'm not mistaken. I think Canadian. So you can get the Sansevieria snake plant, for clean air and allergy relief. This beautiful plant, according to NASA, it's a clean air study that they performed in 1989, is a first-class air purifier as it has the ability to remove toxins such as toluene, benzene, xylene, formaldehyde from the air. Individuals with allergies may benefit from this. Putting about 9 Sansevierias per 100 square meters cleans the air nearly completely. It also emits oxygen at night, which is a plus for using it in your bedroom. Again, the benefits: natural air purification, absorbs CO2, releases oxygen at night, does not need direct sunlight, requires little watering, durable, very hard to kill, propagates easily, unique and beautiful in your house, and again, less expensive than air purifiers and much more beautiful. All right, so in order to conclude this presentation on toxins, I just wanted to share some excerpts from one of my favorite writers, Ellen White. Here she writes in Medical Ministry: "The desire of God for every human being is expressed in the words, 'Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth.'" So, of course, Lord God wants us to be happy. He wants us to be healthy. He wants us to prosper. He wants us to prosper spiritually. And if we are not in health, that's something that is very difficult to do. If people would reason from cause to effect and would follow the light which shines upon them, they would pursue a course which would ensure health, and the mortality would be far less. All who possess common capabilities should understand the wants of their own system. Now, we just did a whole presentation on toxins, and we can see the causes and the effects, right? So now that we have this information, we are able to make more informed decisions that would help, of course, ensure health and to diminish risk. Far more than we do, we need to understand the issues at stake in the conflict in which we are engaged. We need to understand more fully the value of the truths that God has given for this time and the danger of allowing our minds to be diverted from them by the great deceiver. I mean, we are living in the end times, literally. Prophecy is being fulfilled with perfect accuracy. We have little time left, I would say. And of course, deception is greater than it has ever been before. So we know that the Lord has his gospel. He has the right arm of the gospel, which is his health message. We know that the enemy has his counterfeit gospel and his counterfeit health message as well, right? So thankfully, the Lord has not left us without information. He's given us all the information that we require to discern truth from error. We know the things of God, things that heal, herbs for the service of man, the diet that he's given us, and we also know what the enemy provides as, quote unquote, methods of healing. So at the end of the day, we have to make a decision to see who we will trust, whether our creator or the deceiver. The health should be as sacredly guarded as the character. Again, the health has much to do with our character and the way we think, the way we react, the way we feel. All who profess to be followers of Jesus should feel that a duty rests upon them to preserve their bodies in the best conditions of health, that their minds may be clear to comprehend heavenly things. If we're full of toxins, if our mind is full of toxins, unfortunately, we will not be able to comprehend heavenly things. We will not be able to be a blessing for other people. He who cherishes the light which God has given him upon the health reform has an important aid in the work of becoming sanctified through the truth and fitted for immortality. Again, once you adopt the health reform and the health principles, you will see how your mind definitely opens up and is more readily able to accept and understand the truths that God has given for us in these last days. So every time I look up, this sentence comes to mind when I see those trails in the sky. Satan is working in the atmosphere. He is poisoning the atmosphere. And here we are, dependent upon God for our lives, our present and eternal lives. 1890. God has not restrained the powers of darkness from carrying forward their deadly work of vitiating the air, one of the sources of life and nutrition, with a deadly miasma. Not only is vegetable life affected, but man suffers from pestilence, and we're going to see more and more of this, my beloved friends. So definitely we have to stay prayerful, stay ready, having the full armor of God on. Nothing really should be surprising to us, to be honest with you, because again, the Lord has given us all the information that we require to be able to discern truth from error. So I hope that this presentation has been a blessing to you. And again, if it has, please like, share, and subscribe. Again, I'm going to be making more videos, and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can definitely email me and let me know.